Boy, have I been waiting for this day for quite a long time. At last, we have Immortal Empires here, the Empire, Volkmar the Grim, vanquishing some actual demons of chaos. Today, Turin is acting as a willing participant, playing as Nurgle opposite my Empire. Obviously, we're playing on Domination, hence the replay select screen. We're going to go over the army builds now. Got Volkmar, of course, on his chariot. Got Knights of the Blazing Sun as well, two of them, and a Bright Wizard up front. Sigmar's Sons and some Flagellants with two Free Company Militia. In reserve, Warrior Priest, two Great Swords, three Huntsmen, four Pistoliers, two Spearmen with Shields, and three more Free Company. Turin coming in with the heavy double Plague Mortar Soul Grinder build with a Herald of Nurgle, Rot Flies, three Plague Bears. In reserve, he's got three Furies, two Chaos Warhounds with Poison, which Nurgle is now getting access to, four Nurglings, Spawn of Nurgle, and a unit of Plague Drones with the Death's Heads. We are also on a brand new map for Domination, one map that I had suggested quite some time ago, and I'm very glad to see implemented because visually it's one of the most stunning maps ever made for Total War Warhammer 2. That is, of course, the Black Ark. This is a map you get, I think, if you attack a Black Ark, right? If I remember correctly. But anyway, now it's reimagined as a Domination map. You can see from the deployment points on the left side here where the Capture Point 1 and Capture Point 2 are. You do have two pretty far forward Vanguard reinforcement points. You've also got the main point here and another reinforcement point down on the low ground to face objective number 3. And then another main point and another Vanguard close in to the home objective. Each side has their own home and away objective, so to speak, and then the side contested objective number 3, and quite a lot of space to work with. You can see that this map is pretty massive. A lot of different avenues. Well, not too many different avenues, but a lot of different strategies, right? Mobility could be quite viable with this much open space. Long-range firepower, like from Cathay and Kislev, and of course Empire and Dwarfs now as well, will be quite potent on this map, hence the Plague Mortars. So let's get into it. They're going to open up on my Flagellants here. And man, I have been waiting for this day for quite some time. The noble, brave sons of Sigmar facing off against the foulest of the Chaos Demons. And of course, there's quite a bit of new stuff to go over. One thing I am going to extol very much in this early access time period is against demons. If you're expecting to have to fight a lot of demons, this sword right here, Flaming Sword of Ruin, or spells like it, is going to be your best friend. This is also applicable to missile and melee attacks. It does buff base missile and weapon damage, of course, but more importantly, gives you flaming and magic damage, which gives you a 20% increase from fire and a 20% increase from bypassing the physical resistance of all demons. So really it's a 40% damage increase, at least temporarily, and then for a short time after that, a 20% damage increase, plus whatever base damage you also add, right? Which for something like Pistoliers now opening up on those Plague Bears is quite a bit. Their DPS, their missile DPS, just overall pretty high, even though it is spread across 2 shots per volley. A little bit of Plague Mortar shots there landing on those Knights of the Blazing Sun, not doing too much, but doing some damage. Meanwhile, out on the far side, we've got some Furies going to try and bypass those Free Company perhaps. But the Herald on the Plague Drone here doesn't really have much armor. Only 30 armor up on the Plague Drone means that I can just sit here with this mobile force of Pistoliers and absolutely open up. And this, I mean, what can I say? But this is what I've been waiting for. Knights of the Blazing Sun hammering home a charge straight into the Plague Bears. We've got the double Soul Grinder in here as well, so a big pitched melee engagement. Looks like the Rot Flies are going to come down onto the ground as well. They, once again, can get shredded pretty easily. Yeah, some Rot Flies being used as reinforcements here. I'm going to get some Huntsmen and just more Vanguard mobile skirmish units off of this point right here, but some Fleshhounds rushing in. Did a ton of damage to that Herald, but Turin now pushing me out of position here with those, sorry, not Fleshhounds, Poison Warhounds. Been playing a bit of Corn recently, but anyway, managed to wipe some demons, but we've got some Forsaken of Nurgle now coming through as well. Knights of Blazing Sun going to hammer home a charge there, and Volkmar forced to pull away, drops a hot banishment load all over this pocket right here, doing a ton of damage to those plague bears, but don't want to stay in combat and fight two soul grinders in melee. Volkmar, while he is a very potent lord, is not that type of potent lord, right? And not to mention also Knights of the Blazing Sun here facing off against Forsaken, Poison Hounds, Rot Flies. Really a bad situation for them to be in. So I'm just going to try and help them hold as long as I can while the missile units continue to get the work done. Nice stream of corruption there. Just did a ton of damage to my flanking Sigmar Suns and Flagellants. Now moving back up onto the objective. But so far, so good. We'll keep a nice wide view as I'm now bringing some Huntsmen. I was going to reinforce this low ground objective, but the saga of the Free Company continues as they just sit here and shoot these Plague Bears. Free Company feel very fantastic in this matchup, at least against, you know, Plague Bears and Nurglings and low armor stuff like that, right? Nurgle currently doesn't have a whole lot of high armor units, but could change, obviously. Anyway, Volkmar the Grim riding around the Forsaken Resurgent along with the Rotflies, forcing away a number of units, but the Huntsmen staying firm. And the nice thing about Flagellants, of course, too, is the fact that they're unbreakable makes them pretty good at holding objectives. Even though they are very squishy, they're going to end up taking a lot of damage in numbers, and you can mass them. They're relatively cheap. They just act as an unbreakable capture, you know, kind of weight, right? Like a big old dumbbell just dropped on the objective. Another fireball slung there, going to make pretty good contact, does a lot of damage to the Herald there, and also lights him on fire so that, you know, some of the healing he gets from that fleshy abundance, I guess the fire effect actually drops pretty quickly. I don't know, maybe he gets the full benefit from that. But anyway, Huntsmen also opening up with their anti-large shots. Pistoliers almost out of ammunition at this point. Volkmar just continues cycle charging infantry. That's a great thing about Volkmar too. He is a anti-infantry powerhouse, kind of going back to his power level, right? Not meant to fight other monsters, but certainly can run over hordes of infantry, especially infantry that relies on physical resistance like the demon infantry does, given his magic. And fire also, again, very applicable here for units with regeneration or just to stop enemy healing in general. But those Plague Bears eventually pay the price. Nurglings coming to support along with some Furies. Who knows if it'll be enough? We'll check back down there in just a minute. I want to keep it up and close where the fun stuff is happening. Pistoliers, Volkmar, and Flagellants holding off admirably. At this point, we've worn through quite a few of the heavy units, and because the reinforcement points on this map are pretty far back, granted, I am playing pretty far forward from the objectives right now. Neither of us have even bothered to capture this objective, number 2, my own home objective, which could prove to be a mistake for me if Burns able to counterattack effectively and retake these objectives, which he's got this bottom objective pretty well contested. The Nurglings are coming through, and they do have 34 speed. They can definitely keep up with Free Company if they're able to be poisoned by another means, like these Furies now charging in. We'll see, though. I don't know, Turn might be focusing a lot of his micro up here, trying to keep his Herald alive against, again, the overwhelming fire of pistols. Yes, I am a pistol enjoyer. I can't lie. From the Free Company to the Pistoliers, all these units contributing well. Free Company definitely be able to fight pretty well in melee as well. Same can't necessarily be said of Pistoliers, at least unsupported, but perhaps in numbers, if we rush in and attack these Furies from all sides, and, you know, they decided to do the air dance rather than doing any attack animations, perhaps the surrounded Pistoliers could just barely get the job done. Yep, and the Herald falls from the sky there, felled by fireballs and bullets and all sorts of anti-large arrows. Now we've got to turn our attention to the Soul Grinders. One of them has already taken pretty significant damage, but yeah, the AP values on Free Company are okay. They're not amazing. 2 AP per shot, but just the high volume of fire. 120 unit models now on Ultra unit size, which is what Warhammer 3 multiplayer will be fought on. You can see Flaming Sword of Ruin there also buffs them up just slightly. That Flaming Magic damage, again, giving a 40% damage spike, plus a little bit of extra base missile damage. Not too much, but, you know, every extra little bit helps. Especially a unit with 90 armor will take a good amount of non-armor piercing damage, depending on their armor rolls. It's a little bit of variability, but definitely every little bit helps. And it can. But at this point, I mean, Turin's trying to, I think, just pull away a lot of my forces, kind of bypass with these Nurglings to get at this objective. He did manage to take objective number 3, and since I haven't secured objective number 2 yet, he kind of senses an opportunity, but, you know, seeing my own failures here, I send back some Pistoliers, try and hold this. We've also got some great swords advancing up and through from the far side objective. Figured, you know, let's bring in some heavy anti-infantry. Nurgle's armor piercing's looking pretty low with the death of their rot flies and with the soul grinders being shut down. Not too worried about taking those elite armored infantry now, so definitely get in there and get the work done. Pistoliers, once again, just blobbing in, a lot of them out of ammo. I probably should pull this other one out that still has a bit of ammunition and fight, but there you go. Warhounds come in. They're going to chew up these huntsmen pretty well. This is a tale as old as time. The Volkmar tries to ride through to bail them out. Get up close and watch the Pistoliers fight the Nurglings. Soul Grinder eating a fireball in the background. Brand new fireball effects. Well, I say brand new, of course. Ogres have had access to lore fire for quite some time, as has Tzeentch in Warhammer 3. So you've seen the new fireball probably, but just looks nice. Another couple Plague Mortar shots land there. Curse of the Slug goes off. The army ability for Nurgle doesn't hit all of my units, unfortunately. Might have been able to hit all these guys, but doesn't hit the Great Swords. Not that they're very fast anyway, but fast enough certainly to get on the objective and start contesting it. Hopefully start to carve up those Nurglings very efficiently as well. Knights of the Blazing Sun, easy charge to finish off the Soul Grinder. Given how weakened it is, they don't even take a single loss there. Pretty good stuff. More Flaming Sword Rune on those Huntsmen. Just, you know, helped a little bit of extra damage spike against those, against the Nurglings. Just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Now, again, this matchup, I would say the footage you'd see of this and a lot of the other Monogod factions, take it with a grain of salt. The Game 3 factions are very clearly not complete, and I guess the same could be said of Kislev and Cathay and Ogres too, is that you're seeing sort of complete factions face off against incomplete factions. So like in this, for example, if Nurgle in the future gets access to more high armor units, a build like this probably wouldn't work as well. But, you know, just take that as it is. I wouldn't take the balance also too seriously. We're pretty far into early access. It's, as of the time of recording this, more than a month away before Immortal Empires actually releases. So there's quite a bit of balancing left to do, but definitely been having a great time. Cannot deny that. And in this battle, again, big thanks to Turin for being willing to jump in on this. I know this was probably always going to be a tough matchup for Nurgle, given the current roster constructions, and especially on that map, given how huge it is. But, you know, I try to be a good sport and play as close to his spawn as possible to help his units get into combat quicker. Anyway, no, not really. But the Knights of Blazing Sun do okay. They don't do crazy well, but generally the Flagellants, again, same thing. Don't quite pay for themselves in terms of damage value, but holding the line very effectively. And the Free Company, very, very nice here. That hybrid missile melee capability, and especially the high DPS up close to unarmored units, makes them really nice given the current roster constructions. Same thing with Pistoliers, obviously. I mean, look at this value. That is, yeah, that brings a tear to my eye. That Pistolier value does, and the Huntsman too. I mean, generally, the strength of the Empire, one of the big strengths in Domination is the fact that you do have these pretty powerful shooting units, and also relatively cheap, that you can bring in hordes of off of the Vanguard points, and on certain maps, that's going to be incredibly strong. Black Ark is definitely one of them, because of that, especially that far forward left side Vanguard point. Like, you can bring in Pistoliers and Huntsmen and Free Company and have them be pretty close to in range, you know, almost immediately. So good stuff there. On Nurgle's side, yeah, things are a little bit rough. The Soul Grinders did okay. Definitely would have liked to see a little bit better. And obviously the Plague Bearers, a little bit too slow, just getting kited and shot to death. Forsaken, I mean, they were good Warriors of Chaos versus Empire back in the day in certain situations. And the Nurgle ones definitely fulfill that role pretty well. Furies also just amazing in Domination. The access to Poison Warhounds is also fantastic. I think that's going to be a huge help to Nurgle in general, just to have those fast attack and fast capture units. Keep in mind, I believe this is still the case in our current Immortal Empire's build, but these guys have infantry capture weights, so anyway, Nurglings do Nurgling stuff. And that is all for today. So hopefully you guys enjoyed watching this one. There's tons more Immortal Empires content coming at your face from all different directions, so be sure to like, subscribe here. Obviously, I'm sure you're seeing tons of other Immortal Empires recommended content over to the side there on YouTube, so just click on any of it, to be honest, and have a wonderful day. Thanks again. See you next time.